Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to the channel. Normally, I don't like to do back-to-back videos of the same thing because it gets a little bit not monotonous, but I'm on a mission. So I picked up some things. Got this. This is a manual pitcher pump. I was going to get the old kind, that you see in the Western movies, the cast iron ones. But quite honestly, these are on sale. Stainless steel. We're going to give it a whirl. So I'm going to kind of put this thing together. I'm going to put this together. Let's see if we can get some water out of this well. So this thing came with several different options for attachment. It came with this little PVC. It came with, if you just want to put flexible tubing on it. And it came with a cast iron one as well, which is a little odd. But this wouldn't fit any known tubing at the hardware store. It looks like 1 inch, but it's not quite 1 inch. Extremely weird. Must be some Chinese thing. So I picked up some parts. If I can find them in here. Pick this one up. And it looks like it's going to fit just fine. We're going to put some Teflon on that. It came with some Teflon tape. It's a pretty cool little kit. It came with a spare sucker cups for your seals on the inside. It's actually not too horrible. I think I paid like $27 or something like that for this pump. So I've also got me 30 feet of 1 inch PVC. I know that it's going to require at least 1.5 of these to get started with. And every time I go buy plumbing, I just pick up new ones because I go out to my shop and I'm always disappointed because they've already turned into hard nothing. So I just pick up these little bottles. And we're going to have a pair of pliers. So I'll be back. I don't really want that primer getting in there to the gaskets inside that pump. I don't know how well that'd do for it. We're going to go ahead and put on another joint. And I've got several of these. These are just little couplers. I imagine I'm going to have to adjust this several times during this process, because if I do get the water out of it, then I'm going to have to add more pipe because it's going to get deeper when I start digging. That's okay. when putting this stuff on, I always like to twist it on the way that glue really has something to cling into. Whew. Now we're going to give that just a little bit to dry. I bought one of these foot valve. Got this at the local hardware store. It was like 19 bucks, which is probably about half as much as what it should have cost. Kind of interesting though. It'll go in whatever piece of pipe you want. You just cut this off, and then, like, I'm using 1-inch pipe, so I'm going to be doing this. Okay. Well, that flew far, far away. And then we'll just go right into our piece here, but I'm not going to put this on immediately because I don't know how much pipe we're going to need yet, but I am going to go ahead and get this ready. But all this does is has a flapper in it. So when you pick up on the pump, the flapper comes up, lets water in, and on the pump stroke, it closes where water can't come back down. Let's cross through. There we go. There. So we're going to give it, I don't know, we need to give it about 20 minutes. I want to make sure this pipe is well stuck together because I don't want to drop any into the well. So we'll be back. 39 inches plus 7 inches. So 46 inches off the bottom, I need to make a cut. So what I've done is I've allotted for how deep the well is and how long this is. And if I calculated it right, it should sit about an inch off the bottom, which will be perfect. All right, I'm going to give that, actually, I don't really need to give that any time. I'm going to give it some time to dry. I'm going to go sit on the porch and drink some water a minute. So my neighbor Mike picked this moment to come visit. He sees me working out in the yard, and a lot of times if he's going down the road on his side by side, he'll pull in and we'll shoot the bull for a little while. Him and his wife are awesome neighbors. We really enjoyed them being neighbors. But I should have stopped and recorded later, but I just couldn't help myself. I was so excited at this point. I just kept working. So we've got our pump installed here, which was fairly straightforward to screw it under the pipe. But a lot of times their first use, you need to prime them a little bit. So that's what I'm doing here with the water hose. I'm just spraying some water in it, getting it primed up. Doesn't take a whole lot of water. So at this point is all I do is I cover up the hole where the water can't get pumped out. And what it's doing is backfilling around all the seals and stuff inside the pump. And we can tell right there, it's starting to pick water up from the bottom. So instead of keeping on going, I didn't want the water to basically splash out on the ground and run right back down the well bore. It'd just be washing mud and stuff back down into it. So here I went and got me a bucket so I can catch it. And this thing my setup is definitely janky. But it was just that easy to get the water going. This thing pumps way better than any of my previous old cast iron pumps I've ever had. Sometimes I'd piddle with those out there for 15 minutes trying to get them primed. And this thing was a dream. I don't know how long it'll last. I do appreciate that they put a lot of spare parts in the packaging, but for the amount of money I paid, like I said, it was like 27 bucks. I might buy 2 or 3 more and just put them on a shelf. Probably be well worth it in the long term. You can see here that water is nasty, and that's perfectly normal. It takes a little while to clear up. Oh, there goes Mike. He saw that camera and he asked me if I was recording. I said I was, and he noped right out of there. He wasn't having no part of that, I guess. But yeah, so it's going exceptionally well at this point. I think my neighbor might be a little camera shy. He saw that camera sitting there, pew, he was gone. But man, what about that? Man, look how cold this is. That thing's got condensate. Man, that water is super cold. And it's not even that far underground. This pump, while my stand is janky, I understand this. It's just, I wanted to do it now. That thing pumps like a fiend. Man, I had to come get me some shade time. Ooh, it's getting hot out there. Yesterday, the heat index was 109. And it's going to be the same today. That little cheap pump, that thing has exceeded all my expectations for what it was going to do. It was easy to prime. I just put a little bit of water in it, primed right up. Now, it is a wet July, and that well might go dry. So normally I'd put a 4-inch casing in it with some holes in the bottom where water can come in, and then put gravel all the way around the casing. I'm going to leave it caseless for right now. If I have problems with it here in a month or two of it going dry, then I'll just pull the pipe out of it and keep on digging until I find a stable water source. I still have serious doubts that I'm down to permanent water. But man, that thing filled up 10 gallons like that. That is awesome. So if you're in a shit hits the fan situation, you go out there and get you a bucket of water, run it through some, and at some point that water will clear up. It won't be muddy like it is. You can pre-filter it through sand or cheesecloth or whatever, and then you pour it through a water filter. And I may show off our water filter here before too long. And you have an endless supply of drinking water. If a hurricane hits, anybody can do this. Now, if you're in a suburb or residential and you got one of the little backyards, you might want to dig that at night. I am sure that is against every HOA and permit that there is. And quite honestly, it probably is here too, but I don't care. I think the law is a very fluid adaptation. But anyway, I'm going to kind of secure that up. I don't want that open hole there for frogs and lizards or anything to wander and fall down into the well bore. I'm going to secure that up where they can't get into it. And I'm probably just going to keep pumping this thing. I want to see how far it'll go before it starts sucking air, if it ever stops sucking air. So we will see y'all after a while. Take care, my friends. If you enjoyed this and you want to see how I got here, well, then check out this video and this video. And if you don't mind, go ahead and subscribe. It's absolutely free all week. We'll see you later, my friends.